Welcome back to Golf Simulator videos. Today we're back with the Foresight Sports GCQuad Golf Launch Monitor, and I want to address several incoming messages from our viewers talking about driver and accuracy inside the GSV studio using the GCQuad. So a lot of the discussions and questions that I get from viewers in the channel is talking about hardware they're considering and whether or not it will work in their space. All right, so depending on what type of hardware you choose, some devices, especially radar devices, require a certain distance so they can sit behind the ball and also have a certain amount of flight to track a ball. All right, now when you're talking about camera systems, depending on what you're talking about, if we use the GCQuad as an example, it sits aside from the ball, okay, and actually has a short window reading. So as I mentioned before, its quadrascopic technology is actually 4 cameras. Each of them operate at up to 6,000 frames per second. That equates to 24,000 frames per second at an extremely high shutter speed that allows it to freeze the images that it's taking. So that high shutter speed is actually watching the club come in. All right, it's measuring the club's speed and angles in a 3D space, and then is actually watching the impact of the ball on the driver. Okay, now I think I showed this in one of my videos before. There's actually fiducials that are placed on the club face. All right, let me get that to focus in for you guys so you can see those 4 fiducials on the club face. All right, you'll see 3 out near the toe and then 1 here. Okay, and that allows it to measure, all right, the center point of the club, and then also all of those different angles and speeds. All right, so a fiducial is essentially a tracker for the camera. All right, and the ball is being measured in 3D space as well. Okay, and that's for both spin, all right, which could be backspin, forward spin, side spin. That's that spin axis that it's coming up with. All right, and then also any vertical or horizontal movement. All right, so all of that's being measured in a short window, which means that it doesn't require as much space. Now, don't get me wrong. There is a space requirement outside of that for your safety, and I always want to make sure everybody understands that I know some people operate in some very short situations, but be careful. You could get a ball that bounces back, and for your own safety, you really want to make sure that that distance is at least going to keep you safe from a ball ricocheting back at you, all right, especially with driver. And so we're going to demonstrate driver today. I want to hit some shots. I want to show you the data that's available, and that way I can demonstrate and show you what it's giving as results here in the GSV studio. All right, so let's go ahead and we are going to open up the improve section. I've already connected. Well, let me make sure. I don't know if I have or not. Let me make sure I've connected to my GCQuad really quick here. I think I connected via Wi-Fi. Let's make sure. And of course I have not. So the good thing that I checked really quick, I went down in my, just so you know, I went down to my Windows, Wi-Fi connection and just hit the GCQuad, and now we can connect to it and we're good to go. All right, so we're going to go into the improve section. We'll use the Foresight range. I'm not going to set any weather today, even though you could set side wind, headwind, tailwind, temperatures, all those different types of things. I'm actually going to use the GCQuad's internal barometer for my local elevation, which is only about 760. All right, and we'll use all that to demonstrate some driver today. So first thing first, let's go ahead and hit some shots. I'm going to shrink this camera down just a little bit so it's not in your guys' way. All right, and then we'll go ahead and we'll select a premium ball because we're going to use the Titleist Pro V1. And other than that, we should be all set. All right, so I'll just grab my tee and ball here, hopefully fire off a few good drives for you guys. I have the recap screens turned off. That way it just shows the recap data on the left-hand side, and we don't have to wait for it to cycle through. And then I'll pull some of that up after so we can review it. Let's just fire off a few drives really quick, and that way you guys can see demonstration of this performance of the GCQuad in my space. And if you're not familiar, it's 7 feet to the wall behind me and a little over 10 feet to my screen. Those distances obviously not making a big difference because we only have a short window that the GCQuad's reading, and that's why I want to demonstrate that. So that was a decent drive for me. Path was 1.7 degrees inside out. Face to path, look at that, 0.0. I mean, that was just a great drive for me. But it looks like I hit a little bit on the toe. I was 12 millimeters on the toe, so it felt great to me, but I didn't feel that offset on the toe as much as it looks like I could improve. I mean, I could tell it was over towards the toe side, but I wouldn't have said 12 millimeters if I didn't have the data, that's for sure. So something for me to work on. My ball speed was up there, 151, that's good for me anytime I'm in the 150s. Carried at 262. Good drive for me. Let's see if we can hit another one. And we'll go over some data. Well, that one's going a little to the left as well. Looks like it's going to be much more to the left. Let's see what happened there. Ball speed was good again, 151, carried at 266. All right, now I love the built-in screen. It's so easy to set this down outside and not have to hook up to a device. I didn't think I was going to be the person that would bring a launch monitor outside. And then once I used it the first time outside and realized how easy it was, it's something I think that is overlooked. I've talked about it already. And so that's something to, maybe think about if, you're considering whether it be a portable launch monitor or a permanent, golf simulator, hardware. Will you take it outside? Well, with the built-in screen, it really makes it easy. I mean, you even have the impact position, and I'm going to do a separate video to show that. So what happened that time? I was 2.7 degrees inside out and 1 degree closed, and I had more side spin, 527 of left side spin. So even though I pushed that out to the right, that closed club face, causing some left side spin, all right, and looks like it was on the toe as well, all right, 6 millimeters on the toe. Let's see if we can hit one more, and that way we kind of have a cluster and can look at how I'm performing with my driver, and you guys have a decent data set to see how the quad's performing. Most of you guys have seen me, that watch the channel, have seen me hit enough drives where you'll probably be able to really get a good feeling of how this is performing inside. All right. Not that far off the center line, and I got good distance out of it. That's a good driver set for me. I mean, anytime I'm carrying the ball 260, it's a good drive. Now, I was able to make some adjustments there, and as always, I've explained this before, I'm not a PGA professional, so when I'm making these adjustments, I might speak about them a little bit, but I'm not instructing people. I want you to seek a PGA professional that's a swing coach that can work with you and actually get feedback from you, whether you're using a launch monitor, providing them with videos. I strongly suggest you do that. That's how you're going to improve your game. And so let's take a look at this data set, all right? And I will actually remove the swing camera to get it out of the way. All right. Perfect. And now you guys can see that data fully that I was looking at, and I really could have put that camera on the other side because I was covering up the impact position there and distance to pin and stuff. So I apologize for that, but we're going to get it all right now. So we're going to go right up here to the top of the screen. You'll see what the 3 trajectory marks. All right. That's going to pull up our ball data, which we get speed, launch angle, spin, carry, total distance, push or pull, side spin, descent angle, your peak height in yards, all right, and how offline you were. Now that gives you the most recent shot, but then it also gives you the last shot, all right? So I really like that. I can see down here my cluster, all right? If you look, every ball was ending up to the left. So out of those 3 good shots for me, one that started to the right, one that started more on the center line, all right, and that's the one that ended up far left, and then one that started to the left, all right, actually ended up in a good spot like that first shot, but still ended up left to center line. So now I know that I'm ending up left, and I need to get my ball, whether it be, with changing my swing just a little bit and getting that path and face adjusted. I need to get my ball, whether it be starting a little farther to the right or a little left spin, I need to get that corrected because I'm going to end up left every time. Now I could play that, I could make adjustments for it, but that's some great feedback just looking at this 2D dispersion, and that's what that's called, that bottom map with the little cluster. That's the dispersion, shows you the separation of those balls. And then now we can go to club data, and here's where it gets really interesting. So that last shot in my mind was one of my best. Yes, it was a little bit to the left, but I really liked that path, 1.4 degrees in to out. My face was almost perfectly square. My launch angle was 12.9. I'm hitting a 10.5 degree driver. I want to say that a swing coach is going to tell me you want a launch angle just a little bit higher, and because I'm a little low on the face, I probably lost a little bit of that launch. So I could have even got probably more distance out of that. The other two shots were actually closer to the center of the face, all right, as far as that horizontal impact, but they were a little towards the toe. I got this one finally adjusted a little more towards the center, actually a little towards the heel, but then I fell below that horizontal impact point. Now you can see the spin axis was 2.5 degrees left, and it had 117 left side spin, obviously causing that ball to end up left of center. All right, this screen I think is just an amazing amount of feedback. All right, and you can do a couple different things over here too. Notice how it says face to path. You can change that face to target as well. All right, so there's face to target, and then there's face to path. All right, now I can also go to averages, and this is cool because there's my last shot, but it also will show you an average of your 3 shots. So if you want to look at your club data average, I'm averaging 2 degrees inside out. I'm averaging actually a very close to, even face, and I'm averaging that left side spin. I'm averaging a heavy left spin axis. So I definitely have some work to do. Launch angle was a little higher of an average. All right, those couple shots that were higher on the face, getting a little better launch. I was averaging a 5 degree angle of attack, and you'll see that defined down here. One thing I want to point out that I find very useful is the way that they show you where these angles are being measured in coordinates to. So you'll see that that launch angle, okay, is being measured from ground plane. All right, so right here is launch angle, right down in the bottom I'm circling, and you'll see that that's being measured off of that ground plane. All right, and then you'll see this horizontal, this is dynamic loft, all right, 19.6 degrees. All right, that's being measured from this vertical plane, and then the angle of the club coming in at impact. All right, so it's easy for someone like me that may not be an advanced PGA professional, even though I've taken the certification courses and understand, the technology and the measurements. It's easy for me to look inside of here and get a really good idea what's going on. Now I can go over to the table. That's going to show me my 3 driver shots. I love seeing every one ball speed over 151 because I'll be honest with you, it doesn't happen that often. All right, I've been working hard, but that one. Let's see here. What do we have for that was way offline in the middle. Look at that, 22 yards left. I would have to say that last one, 9.6 yards left, and I still got a carry of 262, 267, and 262, and then there's those averages down there. All right, that was a good section for me. Now I can also go to my club. All right, inside of here. Now this is a table, and I can look at all those averages in a table format. All right, that we were just looking at. So if I want to look at my club head speed average, 105, I'm averaging 1.44 for efficiency or smash factor, my angle of attack, my club path, face to path, my lie angle, all right, I'm toe up 2.5 degrees in most cases. All right, something for me to look at. All right, and then closure rate. And I definitely want to go over closure rate on a separate video because that's a pretty advanced data point, and you really have to understand what's going on there. Now, video is a really cool tab. If you have your camera hooked up, we didn't have it hooked up today, you can review your swing for each shot. All right, and you can play that back. I demonstrated that in the first video, so make sure you check that out. I demonstrate how you can easily integrate a USB camera, all right, inside of the FSX 2020 software. All right, so something if you're working on things like I am right now, probably would be great for you to, integrate a simple, in this case, I have a Logitech Brio, and it has a default inside of the software of 60 frames a second. It's great feedback. Make sure you check out that first video. But the whole goal today was to show you guys a demonstration of driver using the GCQuad inside the GSV Studio, and for you guys to understand that, you know, there are units available that allow you to operate in a shorter space and can guarantee you the accuracy that it can deliver, and you're not sacrificing that with shorter ball flight or, you know, a shorter distance behind you because the unit sits to the side. And if you didn't watch that first video, it's about 22 inches offset. All right, and it's nice. It doesn't feel like it's encroaching on my space at all, being that far away. You know, so it's you know, it's relatively simple, you know, to use, but also, you know, relatively you know, easy, you know, to operate with. I don't feel, you know, like the unit's even there when I'm hitting. So it's a good feeling. I mean, that you know, definitely was something for me to consider. You know, having a unit sitting right next to you when you're hitting, you know, but it's far enough away, I feel, where you really don't notice it's there. So I'd be very interested to see what your guys' comments are with the data results that we have here from driver. All right, obviously you're getting some amateur results. I'll do what I can to get some PGA professionals in here to give us some examples as well, so you guys can compare both of them. As always, if you have any questions about GCQuad or any simulator questions at all, if you guys want to get hooked up with my connections to get you the best information and pricing on products, email me. It's always in the description and also in the comments. Love to help out, and I appreciate you guys watching as always. Stay tuned. We have a lot more content coming. Let me know what you want to see in the comments below. I always get to viewer request videos as much as I can, just like this one. All right, so I appreciate you watching. Have a great day.